Hey Clashers, we had recently the summer update in Clash of Clans, and since last Monday, we have as well the balance changes live in the game where a ton of different troops were buffed. Based on that, we're going to have a top 10 strategy ranking, and I will use this strategy score to rank out of those strategies. The first number is the difficulty. The higher the number, the easier the strategy. The second number is multiplied by 2 because it's the score for the strength of the strategy. Again, the higher, the stronger the strategy. With that out of the way, let's get started with the number 10 position, where we have a strategy which is really easy, but just not as powerful right now. Which means it's the Masked Dragon with the Yeti clone blimp. Overall, really good to use, and as well I'm adding to you the equipment upgrade priority list. On this one, it means that you should not max the first, second, and so on equipment. It's always upgrading them to the minimal level. I have a dedicated video for that, which is right above me. As well, for every strategy, I am always putting a specific guide video because I've covered all of those strategies already in videos. So I would always put them right above me in an information card so you can check them out, because we're only going to have attack, replays, attacks in general for the top 3 strategies. Because Super Bonus are now next, or number 9, and if you want to have a dedicated guide video for that, just check the video right above me. But for the Super Bonus, it's going to be really powerful after the changes, or with the buffs which we have in the game since Monday. But something which is a little bit stronger are the throwers. And again, they are harder to use because throwers have a higher range, but exactly that makes them stronger than a lot of other troops in the game. But if you can't control them, if you can't funnel them, this is where the issues begin. And this is why the difficulty score is quite low with a 4.5. The strength with a 9 is, I can just recommend them to you. They are really, really powerful. And if you can master them, you're going to have a great strategy in the game. The next one is going to be the Masked Dragon Riders. This strategy has been really buffed with the balance changes. On every single Dragon Rider, 300 more hit points. You can feel that by quite a bit. As well, a reminder of myself is, if a strategy is not within the top 10, it does not mean that it's bad whatsoever. People are always confusing about something works means it's actually good. Well, I could upload a video where I could barge through legends. I think people would not say that barge is suddenly good, right? So this is always really the difference between something is actually good and something just works. There is a difference. This is why I'm doing those ranking videos, to show you what is actually good, and as well, the army links are always in the description. The next one, the number 6 strategy, is going to be Super Witches. A really powerful strategy, which is crazy to talk about that is on number 6, but the other strategies right above them are just so good. As well though, the scores at this point are going to be really close. You will see a lot of 23's strategy scores in general, or something which are right above, like the 24 from the Masked Dragons with the Warden Charge. Because this strategy is still incredibly strong, it's just a little bit more easy than the Masked Dragon Rider version, but otherwise you can play both versions because they have similar strength. Just how easy or difficult it is, dragons are typically easier because you do not have to worry about defending heroes. That is the big difference, which makes this version just overall easier compared to the Dragon Riders. The next one are the Super Yetis. Still really strong, but as well with a 6 as a difficulty score, you need to really funnel them. If they're going the wrong way, the wrong direction, outside of the village, you're going to have a problem. This is not going to be easy. But again, if you want to have a dedicated guide on how you're utilizing their strength, just again, I have every single strategy linked right above me always, so you can check those videos out if you're looking forward to a strategy. But let's move on to the number 3 strategy, and that is Super Hawk Riders. Yes, that's right. Super Hawk Riders are going to receive as well, or not going to, they have received already above for their hit points. And this is pushing them, in my opinion, to the top 3. I'm not a fan personally of the Icebox spell with this army composition. I just prefer the Eternal Tome. I think it's just creating way bigger overkills and it's just way more consistent because Super Hawk Riders tend to split. Iceblock spell is not that great on split troops. You want to have things together. Otherwise, the spell is not getting that much value. And with the Eternal Tome, you're covering all of those different groups of Hawk Riders. But how do you play this strategy? Let me give you a really quick breakdown of how you're utilizing this strategy. But if you want to have an in-depth guide, as I said earlier, just check out the info card right above me. But for this one, you're going to pick a hero entry, which means king and queen. For this one, you're going to pick an entry where there's as much splash or as much of a dangerous area for your Hog Riders, and you want to take that out. For me, for example, it's this left side corner, which means the Merc Cannons, the Monolith, the Inferno Towers, the Poison Tower, for example. So what I need to do, I need to create a pathing for my hero, and this is where the Warden Charge is coming in. She's going to clear one corner on the flank of this hero entry so they can push into the base. The important thing here is, though, you always want to get into the range of the clan castle with your heroes. You do not want to have them locked onto your Super Hog Riders later on. So you always need to make sure that this hero dive in the beginning is within the range of the clan castle. So like here, the troops are getting lured out. The log launcher is always used in this army, which makes it a little bit easier, I guess, than when it comes down to the multiple choices you have during the attack. Because the attack itself is always the same. As soon as you figure out the muscle memory and how you approach this, it's getting easier and easier. As well, with the wall nerf, those walls are going to open way quicker, makes this attack even stronger. The earthquake is going to be utilized to damage buildings, but as well, make sure that it softens up the walls to make sure the log launcher is going to open them even quicker. But the most crucial part about this attack is do not wait too long for those Super Hog Riders. This is my #1 recommendation. I've seen many people struggling with time or with power, and the main reason is because they just let their heroes die into the core and dive into the core, get the value, and then they start with the Super Hog Riders. This results in time fails and as well in power fails, because if you do both at the same time, you can split the damage. The scatter shot can only shoot at the giant of your Archer Queen or the Archer Queen herself, or the Super Hog Riders. It has to decide, so you're splitting up the damage. And this is the crucial part here. You want to have your heroes diving in for a couple of seconds, like 20 seconds maybe, and then you're starting with your Super Hog Riders. Don't wait too long, otherwise you're going to struggle. And you can see, it's a crazy big overkill. I mean, Super Hog Riders are just going to dominate the game. It is really a really good strategy and a fun one on top of that, which makes it even more enjoyable. But let's get to the #2 position, and that is going to be the only strategy with the strength score of 10. And this is where I want to add a little bit of my input, where people are getting confused. It's you're always uploading the best, the strongest strategies. Yes, but those are two different words. There is the best and the strongest strategy. This one is the strongest. This is why it has a power score of 10 in the strength category. But it is not on the #1 position in this ranking. And this is why it's not the best strategy. There is a difference, really important. Best means it's easy to use, or like in general, good to use and not too difficult, because this strategy might be the strongest strategy, but if you can't execute it, it's not going to be the best strategy for you, right? So that is always the difference there. But let's dive into the attack, because a lot of people are struggling with hook towers. There's typically 2 different options, or actually 3 options how you can approach them. First one, if it's not in the core, just fireball it. Or the second option is just do the Warden Charge on the other side of the base, so you're avoiding the hook tower. But again, let's imagine the hook tower would be where the clan castle is in the core. So really in the core overall. The one easy thing you can do, and why I think a core hook tower is just super troll, at least if you want to defend the Warden Charge, you can always use rocket loons to lure your Warden away from the core. I will utilize that in just a few seconds, but how this actually works is that the Warden is still following troops. The important thing over here is you need enough troops on one spot, or enough like housing space on one spot, to make the Warden follow. So for example, 1 rocket loon, the Warden is not going to follow. You need like 4 rocket loons or something to make the Warden really follow them, and with that you can lure him wherever you want. So for our attack right now, I can see, okay, the Warden is not going to go on the Fire Spirit, so I will take a lot of damage. So I'm trying to lure him away from the Fire Spirit into, like, behind the Fire Spirit pretty much. This is why I'm using 4 Rocket Loons, and you can see the Warden is following them, jumping behind them, and luring not the Warden, but as well the healers out of the area of the cone of that Fire Spitter. And you can do that. Like, imagine, as I said earlier, if in the core would be the Hook Tower. I would not care whatsoever. I would just keep the Warden on the outside of the base. It would be the most free 3-star in the history of Clash of Clans. You just need to be smart about it. And yeah, I've seen many complaints of people saying that the Hook Tower is like making this strategy useless. This is just from people saying who have either not played the strategy a lot, or I don't know. At least now you should know how we can super easily counter the Hook Tower. Those 3 options. Fireball it on the other side to the Warden Charge of the hook tower, or if it's in the core, just keep your Warden on the outside, make your king get hooked into the core, and just celebrate because the entire core is going to be gone because you're going to use the spiky ball. It's super simple and super straightforward. But another reason why I love this strategy so much is because of the synergy between the minion prince and the rocket loons. The rocket loons are going to tank black mines, while the while the minion prince can tank air defenses, scatter shots, and such things, especially with the metal pants. And on top of that, you're going to have one of the strongest hero abilities with the Dark Orb as well. And you can see how many things we're striking in this attack. It's a super straightforward and easy attack. And that's really how you're doing it. I mean, this strategy is disgusting strong, and it was even just buffed. I mean, I could put this at a strength score of 11, to be honest. Next one are the Root Riders. There's actually two versions. The one which I like the most with the Minion Prince, but then as well the one version which right now a lot of people like to run, which is the double overgrowth version of Max. I mean, this one is especially everywhere in tournaments, and it's really good. I mean, no doubt about it. I personally just like the Minion Prince version better because I've played it in the past a lot and have experience with it, but with both versions, you're going to do great. The overall concept here is overall the same though. You want to have a funnel for the Root Riders. And for this strategy, you kind of need to develop a certain vision on the base where you're only watching the defenses, because those are the important things for your attack. You want to make sure your Root Riders are getting guided through the village, and for that, the only important thing are those defenses. This is why I'm trying to create a cut on this far right side, so my Root Riders can then enter into the multi-arch tower and get pushed into the core. The reason here why the double overgrowth is so efficient is because it can replace the Eternal Tome. This was something which was done, by the way, before the Eternal Tome changes, even though I feel like the Eternal Tome for Root Riders became just stronger. But you can play it either way, which means on this one now, we have done the funnel with the Royal Champion Charge. I have recalled her, and now we're putting in the heroes from the top side. We can funnel them a little bit because we want to wall break them into the cannon. I'm using the king with the Archqueen to funnel. And since we're not having the Eternal Tome, we're now going to utilize the siege, which is going to throw barrels with test loons into the base middle, so we don't have to worry about our healers. That's pretty much the concept here, and why we're bringing the siege, not the siege barracks, but the barrel thrower instead. We're now pushing to the base. We're taking down the top side defenses, which is pushing into the core, and then we can use the overgrowth for two reasons. First one, damage reduction. You want to hit areas of the base which are dealing a lot of damage, which then you can just skip, and they're not attacking you and your troops. The second thing is pathing. In this core, things would split probably quite a bit, but instead we're overgrowthing the bottom corner, or the bottom area of this base, and because of that, the troops are going directly then into the area of the town hall because we have created this pathing. So this is those are the two main reasons, main use cases for the overgrowth in this army. Damage reduction and pathing for the troops inside the village. With those two steps, you're going to crush any base. It is really, really good and overall just so insanely strong. And that's pretty much my top 10 ranking. Let me know if you're missing any specific strategy out there. As I said, I have dedicated strategy guides for every single video, every single strategy. I think the only one which I might have missing is the thrower attack, but I will add that as well within the next couple of days, so you have that as well in there. And again, please remember, there is a difference between things work and things are good. For example, I hope people understand that. There's a difference between, yes, I can 3-star with a barge, with mass ice golems and such, and it's actually good. There is a difference. That is really important to understand. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I wish you guys back tomorrow with the next class video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.